You there, thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Forever. Today I have a 7v7 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest and ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1 Southern player, then going clockwise, we have in Ruby Red, Team 1's Agony with a capital Y. He is a Cybran for this match as a 1200. To his north, we have the best color in faction combination in all Supreme Commanderdom. It is Forest Green UEF Commander of Cavat, and he is a 2000 rated player. To his north, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue Frederic Kood. He is an Cybran for this match as a 1200. To his east, we have in Batman Gray Arima as a Cybran. He is a 2100 for Team 1. And next door to him is another Cybran. It is Saizawan. He is in Amethyst Purple as a 1600. In Imperial Gray to his south is another Cybran hit for Team 1. It is Yoji. He is a 2000 rated player, again, as a Cybran. And rounding out Team 1's lineup, we have in Rust, it is Bannable Offense. He is a Seraphim breaking that Cybran mold. He is a 2200. He is the highest rated player on Team 1, and he is tied for the highest rated player overall. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 5 Cybran. So I expect to see 1 Telemazer out of those 5 players. There's also 1 Seraphim and 1 UEF, meaning Team 1 lacks the Aeon faction. Starting up for Team 2's Northern player, and then going clockwise as well. We have in Orange Color Orange already on the move to the north in that nice water. It is the Geometer. I always want to say Geometry, but it's the Geometer. He is a Cybran for this match as an 1100. To his south, we have in Barbie Pink Saizawan. It's not Saizawan, excuse me. Psycho Ad. He is a UEF for this match as a 1700. In Light Oak 10 to his south, we have Hollow Submarine. He is a Cybran for this match. He is a 1600. To his west, we have in Regal Purple, it is Mui. He is a Seraphim for this match as a 2100. In Snow White to his west is another Seraphim. It is Fur. He is a 1700. Again, in Snow White. To his north, we have in Chevy Crimson Okpuk. He is a 1800 as a Cybran. And rounding out Team 2's lineup, we have the only Aeon in the entirety of the match. It is Will-O-Wisp. He is in Stitch Blue as a 2200. He is the highest rated player on Team 2 and tied with Bannable Offense for the highest rated player overall. And for these 14 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation. Currently sitting at not even 6,000 mass. That's, I mean, divided by 10 players, it'd be 600. So maybe 400. I wish it was 15 players instead of 14. But anyway, not really a lot of mass to write home about, really. It's just not worth it. I mean, there's a couple of hundreds or so dotted, but besides that, I mean, players are going to be more focused on getting a little bit more mechs count and then, of course, pushing into enemy territory. Speaking of the mexes, there is a Trimex position right next to Geometer, and dual mechs position here next to Willow. Quad mechs in front of Okpuk, and then a twin mechs in the water for Fur. There are a couple of mexes dotted in the background, but nothing too much. There's also a decent amount of mexes down the center of the map. Most of them, actually there's none of them in the actual middle of the map, but a lot of them in the southwest and northeastern corners where we see both Geometer and Agony moving in to claim that side or sections of the map. And with that out of the way, let's see where our players are headed off to. There are 2 main land incursion or land lanes, I guess we could say. We have the one where Will-O-Wisp and Yoji are sitting at, and then we have the one where Bannable Offense and Okpuk are sitting in. Of course, there is some potential for hook maneuvers around the southwest or northeastern lanes here. There's nothing down the middle. I mean, I highly doubt you could get maybe you could get a unit, but it's not effective in any means. It would take way too much time, and this is a hard cliff edge here. And I mean, like I said, you could maybe get a unit, but it's just not effective to do this really long not spiral, but just maneuver all the way around the middle. It's just better to go either the western lane or the eastern lane. Gun speed and range has been started for Yoji in the middle of this lane here. We do see Will-O-Wisp, of course, going for more land factories, so that upgrade will be very beneficial for pushing him back. We do see Psychoed pushing in on the upper plateau section of the east. We do see he's actually grabbed and landed some forces down there assisting Geometer. So Team 2 investing a decent amount in the northeastern corner. Maybe there'll be a potential of some naval facilities, maybe, because, I mean, there's a decent pond in the north and the south, but it just depends on who goes there. UEF or Seraphim cruisers would be nice to see for some air lockdown, as well as, of course, the cruiser missiles. We could also see some Salems, especially from Team 1, pushing in and trying to invade maybe the southern section, because if they grab this section, they can just walk in to Furfur's base. That'd be an interesting avenue of that. We even see Furfur and looks like Cabot going to have possibly the first come-on-come action of the game. Yep, that's going to be the first come-on-come action of the game. We do see next door to him, Okpuk going for gun, Battle Defense going for T2. And now with gun on board for Yoji, he's going to start pushing against Will-O-Wisp. He's going for his gun speed upgrade to be able to fight at least at the same fire rate as his opponent of Yoji. Gun speed and range started for Saizon to the northwest. Psychoed coming in from the east to assist and taking out this T1 position here. T1 PD has been built. Looks like he's going to tank a lot of those shots. He has to be a little bit careful unless there's some assisting AA nearby, because some bombers could take him out quite quickly, but the T1 PD still hasn't been targeted. He's going to reclaim that. He's going to take a lot of damage, so we're going to have to watch out for that comm there. Just, again, it's a little bit risky to do, but as long as he can get some AA support. And he's actually going to just retreat and call it a day. I think he would have been fine to just keep going at it, but he doesn't want to risk being killed there. We do see T1 PD built in the middle to assist with Yoji's retreat. Hollow Submarine coming in to assist and cover for Will-O-Wisp. He now has gun speed / range on board. Couple of Mantis break through the front lines for Okpuk and take out a couple of early T1 mexes. Nothing too crazy to lose, but it is, again, the beginning of the game, so losing 8 mass a second, kind of annoying. We do see that Team 1 has grabbed the southwestern corner. So Team 2 has the northeast. Team 1 has the southwest, making this essentially a west versus east game. Granted, I kind of felt like that was going to happen anyways, but you never know with 7v7, 14 players. Somebody could do something crazy, especially when we're talking about ranges of 12 to 2200. I mean, these players know what they're doing, so they're definitely aware of different strategies to accomplish the same goal. We do see some bombers actually miss some of its shots there for some reason. Looks like it overshot because of that mountain here. Looks like nano repair started for Sakurai, trying to rep up those hit points. He's already 2/3 the way done with that, so he'll finish that quite easily. And some T1 artillery units and below those to assist with dealing with the rest of those Yoji forces. Yoji tries to get past the orange forces from Geometer, but that isn't really going anywhere. And Mex is being built in the east for him. T1 PD is down. That should allow Psychoed to move in, but he almost has nano done, so he's going to get that, of course, go for something else. Attack missile outbound from Team 1. Looks like it's outbound from Bannable Offense going after mexes for Okpuk. That's a T2 mex and a couple of actual P-gens, not E-storages, but mass storages. So again, cutting down the P-gen cost of running his mass extractors. Because there's no hydrocarbon nearby, that's a way to save you a little bit of power. Jester's moving in to try to take out Bannable Offense, or at least force him back. Looks like the missile launcher was the target. Reclaim has grabbed the missile launcher and getting some PD to try to defend himself, but with Okpuk's gun upgrade, comm already nearby, he's just going to take what he can get and get out of there. Decent amount of T1 forces for Agony, pushing back the forces from Fur going for gun. Attack middle started for Cabot. He has T2 on board in the southwest, so maybe tac missile, or sorry, Billy Nuke possible. Not right now at any means, but maybe about 20 or so minutes, maybe we'll see it, maybe. We do see in the north, gun upgrade for Saizon, pushing back the forces from Psychoed. And again, very much a mirror going on. Team 2 pushing on that peninsula to the northeast. Team 1 doing the exact same thing. It looks like Team 1's favoring a little bit better, but it looks like Okpuk's just going to walk Bannable Offense down. He doesn't really care. He's lost a couple of his mexes. He's using some more mexes here. He might just want to go for the kill. We do see Frederick over here going for T1 PD to assist. If he can get it done in time, it might be enough. There's a hydrocarbon for Bannable Offense, which This is probably going to sit there. T1 AA over the top. And a Notha coming in to assist to just try to rip off some hit points. A couple more Notha fighter bombers might be enough. We do see Battle Offense gets barely out of range of Frederick. Not Frederick, but Vanderbilt Offense. Now it's going to be Frederick covering for Vanderbilt Offense. Wow, I can't speak. Another Notha fighter bomber. There we go. Outbound from, looks like that's from Furfur. T2 engineers being dropped off. If the transport does get gifted over to Vanderbilt Offense, he could get out of there. Frederick just trying to block shots for Vanderbilt. Akpuk really just wants a scalp here. That might slow things down and just check on what else is going on. Possible engagement between Psychoad and Saizon. Saizon has gun. Psychoad has nano end gun, so he's going to win that fight. Just based on the HP alone, it's 3,500 more advantage for Team 2 Psychoad. So if, again, 1v1 shot kind of thing, Team 2 is going to win that fight, but it's a gun upgrade, so it's going to win that fight. Anyway, T2 started here for Agony, and a couple of forces still on the base for Akpuk back here, but Akpuk still going for a kill or two. He might go for Frederick and get a double kill here. Vanderbilt Offense is below 2,500, so if Frederick goes down in range of Vanderbilt Offense, that would be a kill. And there he goes. It's a double kill murder-suicide situation. It looks like Akpuk control kid and grabbed both of them. That's... oof. That was an interesting move by Akpuk. He just went for the double kill and took it. Oh, man, and Vanderbilt Offense a little bit annoyed about that. I don't blame him. 10 minutes on the clock, and now 3 people are removed. That is not great for, either team, because both teams lose at least one player. But, man, I think once Akpuk lost those mexes in the back, he's like, I'm just going to go for a kill and call it a day. I'm going to go for a Vanderbilt Offense because he took out my mexes, essentially. But that was, I don't know if I saw the message or not. I only saw the kill messages, but it may be just classified as a kill for somebody from Team 1. But, yeah, that was, it was a good move because he got a 2-for-1, and that's a 2-for-1. If Team 2 does that every time, they win the game just because of that. But, there is something to be said about, having as many players later on in the game as possible to reduce, subcom brain strain, APM and whatnot. But taking out the highest rated player for Team 1 and a second player at that, it's not a bad move. I'm going to give Akpuk credit. That was definitely a very strategic move. Again, a 2v1. That's an easy trade. We do see a couple of Interceptors having some fun over the top of Team 2's positions. But again, Team 1 Interceptors, nothing really worrisome to worry about. Just because they're Team 1 Interceptors, there's nothing really damaging at this stage in the game that they can do. T2 gunship nearby here for, looks like that's Hollow Submarine. Looks like there was an attack at some point. More reason to come in and scoop up those mexes. But with the deaths of both Vanderbilt Offense and Frederick, Team 1's Cabot gets a secondary base, and the Rigard Airslot player of Arima gets a secondary base. So 2 bases for the Rigard Airslot player at T3 AirTech already. And that can be a little bit dangerous because they can scale that ASF forward very quickly. We do see that Team 2's Will-O-Wisp has secondary base because of the death of Akpuk. So, again, giving more mass to very experienced players. Not a good idea by any means. Transport with some engineers gets shot down. Nowhere going with that fast. T2 Destroyer in the water here for Saizon, pushing back Psychoad. And Saizon gifted over the naval facility from his Seraphim teammate of Vanderbilt Offense at some point. Maybe an engineer dropped off or something, most likely. And he's going to get stealth on board. Not going for torp launcher. I feel like, again, it's not a huge Navy map or water map, so it's not really worth it to go for torpedo. Nano repair started for Saizon. That's Psychoad right there. So, again, it would be very nice for that small little bit of time, but Psychoad's already out of the water. That upgrade would have barely finished, so not really worth it in that regard. We do see that Furfur is pushing in on land in the west, and Cabot trying to establish a frontline position with his comm. He has, again, missile and T2 on board. Sub nearby for Furfur, slowly eating away some of those hit points because he's just out of range. Torpedo bomber inbound as well to assist. And he is slowly losing hit points. He's down in the high yellows. It looks like that sub is now being shot at officially here. So that's going to, again, slowly eat away those hit points. But I just don't think it's really going to mean a whole lot. Another Torp Bomber is inbound. It's just, I don't know if it'll amount to a whole lot. Because Kavak could easily just walk back out of the water. So I don't really see that going anybody's way. But if he gets enough AA in place, he could essentially lock out the ASF / bombers from Team 2. The only problem is Navy could easily come in and wipe that out anyway, so it's kind of a mixed bag there. Missile launcher outbound from Cabat, and he's going to take out the naval facility, and now that is going to help him secure Navy in the southern section of the map. For back on more friendlier sides of the map, trying to let his forces run through to assist him. Nano repair is still going on for Zyzoan in the north. Destroyer online dealing with the orange facility for the Geometer, holding that position. Looks like the fighting has pretty much died down, and even orange forces for Geometer holding position essentially right outside of range of Yoji's facility. Just kind of hanging out, not really pushing one way or the other. Tech missile, no, it's a TMD. Never mind. Western side, again, devoid of kind of the everything, because Okpuk is dead and Bannable Offense is dead, so those main players who would be in that lane still are no longer with us. That's why it's kind of devoid of the everything. Couple of T3 gunships inbound from Arima. They are whalers, so they are the good middle ground between restorers and broadswords in the air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons. T2 Torp Bombers inbound from Psychoat. Now, this amount of Torp Bombers, that's going to mean a thing. Cavat is, of course, the main target. ASFs are inbound. Those bombers will not get a second pass, but there's already ASFs here from Mui to assist. Cavat will lose a hefty chunk of those hit points, but they might get a second pass in. And even if they don't, more Torp Bombers will possibly inbound shortly. Cavat might die here. He needs to get out of water immediately, but he's dropping into the red, sub 3,800 hit points. Another set of not missiles, but torpedoes inbound, sub 25 roughly. Ooh, now he's officially sub 25. More bombers inbound. Airfight does get won by Team 2. That's not great here for Team 1. Gunships, nothing's really going to help this at this point. And Cavat is, I think, dead to rights here. 800 hit points. He is repping at 38 hit points a second region. Oh, he was at barely 100. If one more Torp Bomber comes in, that might be the death of Cavat. Okay, here's one. Is it going to be enough? Does he get on land in time? No, just barely. Ooh. He needed to move like a couple seconds sooner and would have been enough to get him out of there and in friendlier territory. But unfortunately, he does not. It is now a 6v4 in favor of Team 2. I didn't actually announce what the ratio was when we had that initial triple explosion. But it is a 6v4 in favor of Team 2. And again, it's now a 3-2 advantage. The downside with that, again, this early in the game, that means, as an example, Arima, he has 4 bases now, 378 mass per second. That's roughly a little over half of Team 2's total eco. So that's a lot of mass that he has. And he doesn't really have to fight on land, so he can devote all of that to air. You go for RASCOMs, go for early game ender, artillery, whatever he wants to do, because he has a lot of mass at his fingertips. We do see a couple of cruiser missile nonsense going down here for Zyzoan in the north, going after Psycho Ad's position. Psycho Ad has some buzzkills online, protecting his T2 land headquarters. Definitely needs to get Team D in front of the facility. I do like how there's some back here, but get another another shield, and then get a couple more Team D so they can essentially offset the missiles that will soon be coming in from other cruisers, because I'm assuming Zyzoan is just going to go full cruisers, because there's really no point not to. He's knocked out pretty much everything in range of his destroyers, so that'd be a waste. But transporting some bricks up here from Yoji, very, very nice. He cuts down the travel time severely by not having to go all the way around. And of course, I don't think Psycho Ad was prepared. So a lot of those units will be taken out. Of course, the targets are going to be the TMD. Some PD are going to be built to try to deter this. But there's more bricks all the time. There's now 4 of them. And I think that's going to be enough to really take out this position here for Psycho Ad. And he's going to be forced back, most likely to his main base. But he's going to try to help Geometer just retain control of the northeastern side. Nav repair done on Hollow Submarines comm for some more protection. And it looks like it's 2 air players for Team 2 with a potential for a third out of Furfur. Actually, no, a third is online here for Psychoad. So 3 air players for Team 2. It is a lot of air players, but again, Team 1 has 1 of them, and he's expanding immediately into a secondary air grid with its own air facility headquarters. Love to see that. So even if he loses this one, he still has this one to still produce ASFs. I love that, just to ensure that he can still use facilities to their maximum potential. But more bricks are inbound. Team 2 is forced to retreat. Team 1, of course, has the southwestern corner on lock. And if they grab the northeastern corner, they'll put Team 2 at a severe disadvantage for the map control percentage. And map control percentage isn't the end-all be-all, of course, but it does indicate that one team has roughly the majority of the mechs. Is it always true? Not necessarily, especially because there's spots in the maps that are just devoid of the everything. But generally, it means that they have more mass available to them in terms of mechs locations. We do see some Percy's outbound from Arima pushing in on that western lane that I said that he doesn't really need to, but he can if he wants to, if he needs to spend mass, which, again, he's at 500. He's starting to be positive, so he's thinking about spending a little bit more of that mass. ASFs, of course, stacking up for Team 2 and for Team 1. We'll see how much they stack up one way or the other. But again, with 3 air players for Team 2, one of them pretty much devoted to just T2 Torp Bombers at this point. Maybe he's just donating over to ASF. It is potential. It is possible. It is Seraphim, Cybrin, and UEF. So, again, you can't just double-click on all your ASFs and essentially click on them and highlight them and whatnot and make them move and do whatnot. You have to essentially hit other shortcuts. I'm assuming there's like a shortcut for all air superiority fighters. I'm assuming there is, but don't know off the top of my head. Psychoad losing a lot of hit points there. This is yeah. There goes Psychoad due to some brick pressure. He tried to defend the best he can, but just got overrun by Yoji. And it is now a 5v4 in favor still of Team 2. We do see, of course, that cruiser missiles coming in from the north and the west. And it's just not looking good for this northeastern corner for Team 2. Geometer is still holding in there. He has stealth on board, no gun upgrades, so he really can't engage the bricks with a little bit of efficiency. It'd be a nice overcharge, but that's really about it. Looks like the bricks will be fine. Maybe they'll lose one of those 2, but there are some tickle cannons being built, so now they're sandwiched between Rhino fire and tickle cannon fire. And honestly, I'd rather go at the tickle cannon fire at this point. So missiles just raining in on the everything up here to the northeast. Another tickle cannon installation, another one coming online. It's still not going to be enough. 3-star vetted brick, almost at 10,000 HP. This one's at 2, so almost is at 9,000 HP. It's going to force it into the water, but honestly, the missiles are coming in, and that's dead. Gunships over the top here for Team 2's Mori coming in to assist with the reinforcing positions for, looks like, Furfur and Willow. The bricks and the everything else from Team 1. And Othams, I guess it's just Othams and Percy's, actually. There's no bricks. No, that's a brick right there. So that could have been Team 2's, but I think they're UEF. Oh, no, this is Cybern. Yeah, it's a Team 2's. Gunships over top with no... I mean, there is some AA coverage, but of course it is the T3 variety, so it's good at the higher HP units. But densely packed gunships like these, you definitely want the flak. ASF fight over the top of this Quadmex position for maybe Team 1 at this point. Might go Team 1 Arima's way, actually. There's not that many ASFs in this mix, and I think we're seeing that eco situation play out in the air for Team 1. There is a little bit of T3 AA nearby here for both Willow and for Moi, but it's not going to net that much victory in the air, so it's going to mean that Team 1 will pretty much have air control, but there are pockets of other ASFs for at least 2 other players for Team 2, so it's not a complete air control situation, but it is partial one. We do see a brick landed over here, at least walked over or something. And that brick will be taken out. T3AA is the target, but it is not taken out. To the north, we do see Will-O-Wisp is under bombardment from some movable walls here. He has a couple of his own Harbingers nearby and Hollow Submarine to assist as well. Nice overcharge, takes out 3 bricks. And that'll help deal with the amount of firepower raining down on Willow. Actually, that might have just saved him if he can get out of range. His advanced range upgrade does not finish, unfortunately, but less than 1,000 hit points remaining. That triple overcharge kill might have actually saved Willow, and that will be very, very nice for Willow. He's like, that was close. Definitely gonna hang back and go in the pond most likely if I was him. I mean, again, Aeon comms aren't known for their regen, so it's going to take him a while. But he could go for shield, and that'd give him 8,000 temporary hit points. T1 bombers moving in could go for Willow's comm, but I don't know if they want to go for that. He can see something inbound. Omni, of course, positioned for Mui. I do like how it's underneath some shield coverage, and there's some TMD nearby. But essentially makes it a point that no missile is going to come in easily and take that out. I do love that. And even if a missile does get through, there's still the shield to contend with. So with a little bit of extra layering protection. Love to see that. D3 artillery coming in for Yoji to just shell this position. T2 PD being built. Definitely don't want to stand your Harbingers there underneath T3, T2, T4, T whatever bombardment. Not great. Not great for your health of your units. Spy planes over the top for Team 2 to get a readout what's going on. Big ticket items yet here for Team 1. No, just more air grid. Monkey has been started for Saizawan. Of course, he's just spammed up his cruisers in the bay there. It looks like the Harbingers are kind of fed up with being shot at. They're going after those trebuchets. In the southwest, there is a Colossus online for Willow, and he's pushing in to both Agony and Arima's position. Tickle cannons becoming very popular over in the west, but again, like I've said before, their fire rate is great. Their DPS is their damage per shot, I should say, not the damage per second, not great. And looks like the Colossus mainly focused on dealing with the bricks, not actually the tickle cannons, because they're doing more of the damage. But again, you know, Cerberus, 1,000 of anything will kill anything, so it's just one of those things. Colossus almost at 2-star vetted. We'll probably get to there with the destruction of the rest of these bricks here from Agony. We do see some gunships inbound. Now that's going to kill that Colossus off. There is a little bit of AA inbound, some bangers from Willow. Of course, bangers can shoot at ground units. Granted, their accuracy is not great, but the Colossus is dead anyways, and those are going to be some dead bangers from Willow. Love the attempt, but he just doesn't crack any sort of the defensive position, so it's going to be a little bit of a mass dump from Team 2, but nothing too bad. It's only 1 Colossus, not 4 of them, so there's that couple of air scouts over the top here from Arima. He took out the AA position, so he can easily send his air scouts in. Again, it's a very passive thing, just keeping a little bit of vision on the side of the map, giving a little bit of more intelligence gathering. Again, it's nothing too crazy. It's just enough to say, oh yeah, that's what's going on over there, and that's what's going on over there kind of thing. Nothing that worrisome. 27 minutes pretty much on the clock here. Team 1 has lost 3 players. That was Bannable Offense and Frederick at the same time of Team 2 losing Okpuk, and then it was Cabat, and then it was Psycho Ad. So it is a 5v4 in favor of the southeastern team of Team 2. Eco situation, Team 2 is actually now behind. Total is 1.4 to 1.6, 1.5. We'll just say 1.6 because it's pretty much that. Looks like power situation might be a thing as well. But, I mean, again, Team 1 with Arima leading at almost 650, 600, 900. That can't. Oh, maybe that is right. 800. I don't know. His number is constantly jumping, so we'll just say 750, 800 and call it a day there. And then Hollow Submarine and Willow are the ones leading for Team 2. So those are the players to watch out for any spicy plays. But again, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, because why not at this point, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We do see some destroyer bombardment in the south from Agony, and cruiser missile bombardment in the north from Saizawan. So again, both of the major pawns are controlled by Team 1, so Team 2 is just slowly being squeezed at the northeastern and southern sides of the map. We do see a chicken is online. It doesn't have torpedoes on board, so it's not super useful in the water, but it does have that ion storm that does float to the surface immediately, so that is something, and that wreck has already been scooped up. Well, that's not what I wanted to do by Team 1. Still, the attack is inbound from Arima, not letting that pressure go. The old position for Okpuk is still online for Willow, but again, he's lost a decent amount of the mexes that were under the control of Okpuk. But that chicken should mop up these options pretty nicely. There should be some, there's some gunships, both T2 and T3. Love to see the broadswords in there. The AA, of course, going to be targeted, and some ground forces, and a Colossus inbound. So that attack from Arima, not really going to net him a lot of things. There are, of course, those gunships that can easily be diverted over to the Salems that have some AA coverage, but honestly, not a whole lot. Missiles are inbound. They are going for the T2 facility that's already dead, so there goes that. Oh, please tell me you hit the Cooper. Please don't. Oh, you don't hit the Cooper. Sad. Goes after the wreck. Deals more mass damage in that regard, but shields are not holding due to the artillery bombardment. Chicken is inbound. A couple of Salems are already dead. Ooh, that chicken turned around, and not a great time here for that fleet. And now it's just Agony's cruisers and one destroyer. A couple of bricks do break through the ground defenses, which weren't really existing down there. So there's that, but I think the bricks have decided to go back home because big chicken equals big not good things here for the health of the brick. It looks like most of those bricks will actually get out of there anyways. More artillery online for Furfur, and that will keep a little bit of that naval pressure down from Team 1, just because they can't push in without being shelled for however long. So just not a great situation for either of those players or defenses, but it's kind of a rock and a hard place kind of situation. In the north, another attack going for Willow's front line and Hollow Submarine's front line. We do see that both Hollow Submarine and Willow are nowhere to be found. Willow's back here. He's back up into the mid yellows, about 50% of his hit points. We do see artillery raining in as well from that little trebuchet to the north. Colossus is still alive. Maybe it'll stay alive. It's 11,000 hit points and falling. If it gets another rank in veterancy, it should be fine. There's some Tuka cannons also for a geometer to help assist as well. 500 hit points. Sorry, 5,000 hit points. And I think he'll be fine. Yep, 12,000. So, yeah, the Colossus will be fine. But there are a lot of gunships, so that's a thing. I don't know why he just didn't send them in. That would have taken out the entire front line for Team 2 over here. Just deciding to not engage just yet. Laser started for Geometer. So maybe we'll see teleportation. I mean, he has stealth, so he'd have to get rid of his stealth upgrade to go for teleportation. But he could. We'll just have to see, because I feel like obviously it's a... Nope, he's going to go for cloaking, I guess. We're going to go for nano. I mean, there's no point. I mean, there is a point you can switch back to teleportation, but I feel like at that point, if you're going to go for nano, you might as well go for cloaking. The only issue is Team 1 has an Omni right here, or Rima's position. I mean, once he walks essentially near anywhere Willow's base, he can see that. But cloaking's not going to be useful. It just really isn't. Team 1 has a backup Omni. Nope, it's upgrading to Omni down here. That'll be online here shortly, so that's a backup one down there. I don't see one back here. Nuke online for Team 1's Saizon, so love to see that. And artillery has been started by Arima, so T3 artillery is soon to be the main item of concern for Team 2. Does Team 2 know of anything on Team 1's side of the map? No. They do see the nuke, though, so they are prepared for that, which means SMD should be already online and loaded, or soon to be online and loaded. Nothing here for Will. Oh, there is an SMD here, excuse me, already half loaded, so he's going to be fine. We do see whose base is that? Hollow Submarine. He already has one half loaded, so he'll be fine. And then the only one of concern is over to the west. Looks like T3 counter artillery is coming online for Mui as well. Looks like he went for the Aeon one, which I am partial to the Aeon one for T3. I don't know why. I just like that dual damage ability where the initial shot rains in and then there's like a invisible pulse that comes out and does more damage. It's nice to have when it's useful. or when it can be used. But if it's just on shielding, it doesn't really do much. Oh, here they are. Redirection missile systems on board for Geometer. Team 1 spams out the cruisers. Team 2 spams out the Of course, there is some TMD on board those cruisers, so once the TMDs are redirected, they become foe tags instead of friend tags, and they are shot down. I was thinking of the word for a second. I was thinking friend or foe, whatever the what's the... There's a word for it. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head, but it's the... It is the friend or foe tag, but I feel like there's another name for that. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. A couple of bricks land up here to take out a mechs on this upper plateau, but easy transport or rebuilds it. Nothing too crazy, but it does do some damage, so it's something. Anyway, I just don't remember what the other word for a friend or foe tag is. It'll come to me at some point. I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I do love to see the cruisers just spam out missiles. Not all of them are actually in range of anything, so there is that. But, you know, I love me some cruiser action. And it has AA on board. It's a 2-for-1 special, because why not? I would like to see maybe a crab down here for Team 2. There's a lot of stuff here. There's Barracudas, there's cruisers, there's Salems. There's everything you would want in a T2 fleet besides shields, which you can't get unless you are UEF, unless somebody donates over some UEF tech, as I essentially put my foot in my mouth. So there's that. Maybe he's going to go for T2 governors, maybe. But he does have... Oh, that system got reclaimed, so never mind. I was going to say there was a T2 UEF facility there for Cavat, but that got destroyed and then reclaimed, so never mind. ASF horde is starting to get pretty big here for both teams. Team 1 sitting at 282, and Team 2, because they're essentially a hodgepodge amalgamation of a couple different groups of ASFs. There's 155 Seraphim ones, and there's 183, so there's 330, which I think means Team 1 is actually behind in the ASF count. Yeah, that does mean it's about 50 or so, but there's been enough time to where there's a decent amount of AA coverage for both teams, so it really just depends. If Team 2 fights on Team 1's side of the map, it could net Team 1 the victory and vice versa. So if they're out in the open, all it's going to matter is just the first turn or so. T3 artillery is done. That was a very quick T3 disruptor. Jeez, and it's firing at full speed as well. Going after Geometer's base. Looks like it went after the less shielded position. Ooh, SMD's almost down. Shield is online. Takes the first hit. That SMD might not be online for much longer, which might be the target of the nuke, which is currently half loaded. 35 minutes on the clock here. It's getting really spicy here. Team 2 has their own artillery piece online. Second one is under construction immediately. It is, of course, the Emissary versus the Disruptor. Second Disruptor already in the yellow for Team 1. Looks like, ooh, portion of that air grid is, that is not good for Team 1. Ooh, yeah, that's where you got to shield your stuff. And not just shield some of your stuff. You got to shield all your stuff. Because, yeah, not great. Shield is offline. And that is not good for that artillery piece here for Arima. Cruisers are inbound. Well, not inbound, but firing inbound from the north. There's a nice little conga line of Colossi and a FAF war mixed in there as well. And in the west, again, nothing really happening except a couple of chickens down the western flank. So there should be enough land support to be fine, but it's really going to be about this eastern side of the map that's really going to be the concerning factor here for Team 1. The artillery from Team 2's Mori is a little under half done here. It's taken out a chunk of the air grid here for Arima, but he's getting the rest of it shielded, so it should be fine here shortly. Second artillery piece for him is stalled for now because he's going for assisting the shields and upgrading them as we speak as well. He's trying to make sure that he keeps his one artillery piece on. The only issue is long term it's not going to work because Team 2's artillery is still up and running, and the second one is coming up on running as well. So that's only going to just put him in a worse spot. And it even looks like the artillery from Team 2's more is actually shifted over to this air grid, which is also less shielded, so that's PGens and air facilities going offline. That's going to take out both of the emitters there. Keep the, obviously, the emitters online, but the shield is down. Crab is down here for Arima. He has a lot of gunships, a lot of flank underneath them, though. Not a great position to sit there long term. One Colossus is down, 2 remains. We do have that Fat Boy who's lost a chunk of his HP, but most of his shielding. It's almost back up to full, though, for that shield. It does look like the gunships are focusing, of course, on one of those 2 Colossi. I feel like the not cruisers, but the flak should probably be targeted a little bit more. Most of that Whaler gunship ball has pretty much been taken out. Pigeons are going down. That SMD is going to go down. Nothing really worrisome for that frontline position because Team 2, I don't think, has a nuke anywhere, which actually would have been a really good play, but there are SMBs and they are covered by a lot of PD coverage anyways. Not that that necessarily matters, but this could be the thing that wins Team 2 the game if both Colossi, or at least one of them, gets in and takes out those essentially 2 artillery pieces. That'll be it, because Team 1 won't really have much left after that. We have in the east Geometer going after a bunch of bricks. Yeah, he does have nano. He gets the 3-star efficiency, though. That might be enough to save him. The bricks not focusing the comm, though. That's definitely a mistake there. Overcharge comes in, takes out a little bit more of that HP, but it does look like Geometer will be fine. All of those cruisers really want that Fat Boy dead over there. I just don't think it's going to really happen at this point. And it looks like one of those Colossus has also been taken out. So that's number 2. Number 3 remains. Yoji's like, please get out of the way. You're not helping. Gotta move, gotta move, gotta move, gotta move, gotta move. Nuke is outbound, most likely from Team 1's standard nuke launcher, or at least the stationary one. And it is going for the east. Looks like maybe Hollow Submarine, maybe the frontline position. Don't know if it's going to go for the... Well, it's going to keep going. SMD's online. It's been online for a while. It is going to take out the frontline position. I don't know if that'll really matter, but... Kaboom! Takes out the first... No, the nuke takes out the first stuff of the game. Colossus going into the air grid and artillery grid. There it goes. It did its job. It's reclaiming the first one immediately. And the Colossus, 72,000 mass and climbing, dead. Might get another P-Gen. Nope, doesn't get the P-Gen, but the artillery is down. Team 2 has 2 of them now online. And it's only going to be the slow collapse of Team 1's backline, everything else. Torpedo started for Sizolan. I mentioned at the beginning that it kind of would be pointless to have it, but I guess he wants to have it anyways. Beats me. And it looks like the air grid's just going to be slowly withered or taken out, just slowly eaten alive. Yeah, it's just not a good day here. Yoji needs to get more shielding because it's not going to be a good day for him long term. Does look like another cruiser is online. A couple of them actually. Of course, they're just shelling this position. It could be enough to crack this position for Furfur, but I don't think the cruisers will be able to reach the artillery that's back here. Third one, of course, is also online for him as well, or coming online, I should say, soon. For Mori, we do see a crab to the north with 1, 2, 3, 4 Colossi, 2 chicken. Yeah, that's not going to go Team 1's way by any means. There's a decent amount of Perseus to the north as well. But even then, all the chickens have to do is run in and die, and they'll kill off most of those units anyways. Yeah, just not a good day for Team 1's land forces by any means. Looks like Team 2 hunkered down just a little bit too long for Team 1's liking. Bricks are moving in. T2 PD being built in haste. Gunships over top to assist as well. And those are going to be the ones that you're going to want for base defense against ground units for sure. And nothing else to the north is going on. The brick army is continuing to move in. Of course, we have the Colossus grouping to the north. Looks like everybody's fine. No one's really dead here. It looks like a couple of those experimentals actually shifted south. Whereas Corsairs over top going after, I would assume, the cruisers, but they're not going to get that much work down. Looks like the front line defenses are down. Boy coming in to assist. Furfur coming in to assist. But again, with the gunship ports above them and everything else on the ground helping out, those 2 commanders are going to be more than enough additional firepower to defend this position. Third artillery piece is almost in the green. There it goes. It's in the green. 75% done. Team 1's air grid is in ruins. I mean, it's still there. It's still roughly active, but a lot of those pigeons are down. Arima, 1.1k mass income. Unless he has a big ticket item stored somewhere else in the corner of the map. There's another artillery piece started here for Saizolan. And it's raining in on his position. Actually, that SMD looks like is the target. There's another artillery piece online here for Arima. It's a Duke this time. And there's a satellite over top, most likely spotting for Team 2's, well, everything, but specifically, of course, people at Apollo submarine. He's going for another satellite, so 4 of them soon to be online. Saizolan finishes an experimental. It should be a monkey or something. Yep, it's a crab, actually. The artillery piece is not really building. Strat this SMD, and you can nuke it with the sub-nuke. Oh, Team 1 has a sub-nuke. Oh, there it is. Oh, I thought it was a plan B, but Ace would work. Yeah, if they take out that SMD, they could take everything else out, but they just have to take it out is the problem. There's a decent amount of Seraphim shielding and 1 random Aeon. Mori's standing next door to that SMD, and Hannah's almost 4 loaded. It's going to need at least our 2 artillery pieces, but it doesn't matter. The Duke is down anyways. Does not matter. Push says Psychoad. I mean, he can. Doesn't really need to at this point, but he can. 2 satellites over top. Where are the other 2 for Team 2? Well, this one's almost done, to be fair. What's the third one, then? Explosion in the northwestern pond. It is Arima. He control case. Seeing the game is not really going to progress in a different direction at this point. Back in the game for a win. Yeah, yes, the only problem, though, is that even if you take out all 3 of those artillery pieces, you still have everybody else on Team 2. And even if you take out Mori, for instance, you still have the 4 satellites over here. You still have just everything else. Another explosion happens. It looks like that's probably... Okay, Yoji control Ks. It's now a 5v2 in favor of Team 2. Make strats and strat. Mori's SMD says bountiful offense to Saizolan. Agony finishes an experimental. It's another crab, I would surmise. Another explosion happens to the east. Oh, Geometry taken out by brick forces from Saizolan. And he was defending quite well on this eastern side, but just enough firepower was just enough to take out his full HP. Artillery piece has been spotted and knocked out. At least the one that they were starting to build here for Saizolan. Yeah, that wasn't really going to work long term. ASS might just take the fight at this point. If they take it, Team 1 doesn't really have much to fight with. They have that nuke sub down here, which is half loaded, to be fair, but I don't think they're going to get that SMD. I really don't think they're going to get it at this point. And there goes the air fight. Team 2 in a great position. And it's going to be just an air wipe. And with that, that might just be it. Saizolan going to start teleporter. And he has torpedo on board. He has to take... It's not take care of, but he has to get rid of that torpedo upgrade and go for his laser. 6 experimentals. Can I do math? That's 5 experimentals, not 6. I thought there was 6. Maybe they kept one for defense somewhere. Maybe. I swear there were 6 of them. But maybe one died at some point. Anyway, 5 experimentals down. The western line here. Again, there's really nothing to defend against this. With the artillery taking out all of the everything. Strat bombers are fleeing. They're fleeing, but I don't think they're going to last much longer. Team 2 is just going to airlock Team 1 at this point. They don't have enough AA to whittle down all those ASFs, and all those strat bombers are dead. Yeah, it's not great. SMD is down. Lots of cruisers. Again, they've locked out air for this northern side of the map from Team 2, but again, Team 2 can just go all the way around and call it a day. 4 satellites over the top of the front line for Saizolan. It looks like they're targeting the the Calm of Agony. He's going into the water. I don't blame him. There's 2 crabs over here. Nice little flanking maneuver here. The Colossus just don't care at this point. They want the dead Calm. Going for PD. That's not going to work. It's better to just hang out in the water and call it a day. Saizolan is going to teleport in anyways with torpedo on board. Looks like he's going to go for a kill on Willow. Willow's going for heavy shield. Maybe he could go for hollow submarine and get a double kill her, but if that heavy shield finishes off, good luck trying to kill Willow off. Colossi is still charging in. One of them is down. Two of them remain. Agony should have just retreated. And you're not going to escape the Colossi at this point. He is trying to retreat. Colossi see him. I want to slow things down. Agony is just going to accept his fate, it looks like. And those Colossi are going to destroy him. There he is. Sizoan's building it. I think I'm going to split things off. And we're going to see the death of Agony. And we'll see possibly the death of Sizon at this point. There goes Agony to the west. We'll end the split. Go back over here. And Shield Heavy trying to be built, but I don't think Sizon is going to really need to have to worry about that at this point. Shield is almost depleted here for Willow. 69%. Another volley of Torp Bombers is inbound. The fire isn't going to help things. It's going to take out the Torp Launchers, though. And Sizon, that is the last of Team 1's commanders, meaning that Team 2 wins the game. Unfortunately, Team 1 could not use the sub-nuke that was mostly loaded, I would assume, at this point. But Team 2 ends the game. MVP for me, I mean, the artillery is really what won the game. Once they took out Team 1's artillery, it was just point-click adventures at this point. Just pick and choose where you want stuff to blow up, and it'll blow up at that point, especially with 3 emissaries. Yeah, I think Team 1 but just Team 2 had a lot of time on their hands, essentially. Had there been maybe more pressure down here, maybe he went for cruisers sooner down here. I mean, there was a lot of Team D built afterwards anyways. Maybe tried to have a huge land push with maybe all those bricks and Percy's or something instead of going right down the middle, just kind of going right through the pond. That might have worked, at least maybe taking out Furfur's position, but I feel like Team 2 would have easily responded, but something would have been taken out at a minimum. But I don't know. The map itself kind of constrained land and naval engagements anyways, so really air and artillery was really what Team 1 and Team 2 had access to. If they went for strat bombers early, that actually might have been the difference, but you know, hindsight is 20/20 and all that. But let me know down in the comments again who you would pick for MVP. MVP for me, I think I got to just give it to Moe just because his artillery is what won Team 2 the game long term. But thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see all of you in the next one.